Today we are interviewing Nife about the project Historyclub.exe. In seeing the lack of space for students who are interested in history to express and explore their interests outside of class, Nife has come up with a plan to combat this issue, Historyclub.exe. And Historyclub.exe focuses on fostering a space within Nife's school that allows students to talk and learn about all different types of history, bounce ideas off each other in a more free and unstructured manner in comparison to a class curriculum. Welcome, Nife.
Thanks for having me.
Can you talk about your inspiration for working on this project?
Yeah. Historyclub.exe aims to solve the problem of history students or history enthusiasts who don't have other students to talk to about history, to particularly like niche parts of history. You can see on the slide. That's me at an air museum a couple years ago. Um, Another, probably the biggest part of the reason why I started historyclub.exe is it's a problem that I've had myself for a long time. As you can see in the pictures, I've always been interested in military history for since like first grade, so like a decade. I'm a junior now, so yeah, it's a problem that I've had, and it's a problem that I've always wanted to solve for myself, but didn't really have the opportunity to do.
Wonderful. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And so it's not just you who's into history. Can you talk about some of the other students that you've interviewed and the challenges that they're facing?
Yeah. So as you can see on the slide, that's my friend Connor. He has a similar interest to me in military vehicles, particularly of the 20th century. And he said, other than me, he didn't really know anyone who also shared like the same interest as us. And he was one of the first people that I interviewed. So
Yeah, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? There's a bunch of other folks that you found as well. What's
yeah.
something that you learned about this issue when conducting your interviews?
So this is something that I kind of knew before a little bit, but this starting historyclub.exe really, solidified it in my mind. So when people say they're interested in history or really interested in history, sometimes what they mean is that they're really into a specific part of history and they know a lot about that specific part of history. You know what I'm saying? So like that might mean like I don't know. Someone says, "Oh yeah, I'm interested in um, uh, Asian history," right? But what they might mean is they're like really interested in like the trade of grain between China and India or something.
Hmm, That's a really valuable insight. Can you describe your solution?
Yeah, so it's really simple. Historyclub.exe is simply a history club created with the aim of providing students with a space where they can just talk to each other about history, any type of history they want, bounce ideas off each other, learn from each other about different types of history they might not even have known about, with a little bit of teacher oversight, because, it's still a bunch of students, so some teacher insight here and there would be pretty helpful, but it's primarily meant to be student ran.
Mhm. Can you talk about some of the experiments that you've conducted as part of the process?
Yeah, so I basically just asked a bunch of people if they would be interested in joining an upcoming history club, so I could just gauge potential engagement, how many people would show up, etc. And generally, I got positive feedback, which is sort of surprising because mostly when people talk about history, I hear them kind of, just complaining about, oh, it's so boring, etc. So it was uh, kind of a surprise to me. So, for example, Connor, who was pictured on the slide, who said is one of the first people I interviewed, um, is interested in war history, and then another student named Brian, my other friend, is also particularly interested in religious history. Another interview experiment that I conducted was I learned how to register the club within my school. Fill out the registration form, learn about how the process worked, etc. Like, in fact, I actually got it approved today, so I'm going to have my first meeting probably next week or so, depending on how the schedule works. I also recruited an advisor who was my IB history teacher, Mr. Clothier. He agreed to serve as the club advisor, which is really nice. And I tried to hold an unofficial meeting, but because the club wasn't approved yet. But unfortunately, on the day that I tried to do that, most people were either busy or just didn't really want to show up because it wasn't, official yet. But it was a start anyway.
Congratulations on getting the club approval. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
What was your favorite part of working on your project, and why was it your favorite?
Probably just like getting Connor to, agree to be my co-clerk for when the club started. Because I don't know, it's just exciting to have someone who feels the same way I do about history. Um, who I guess be um running the club with me.
Excellent. What's next for your project? What's coming up?
So since it's approved now, I'm gonna try and have as many meetings this year as possible, which is probably just gonna be one or two because we're wrapping up right now. So, but however, I want to continue it in September. Hopefully, grow the club to the point where it'll be a reoccurring club after I graduate because I'm going to be a senior next year. So I want it to be I want it to continue without me.
Wonderful. Wonderful legacy. Congratulations on historyclub.exe.
Thank you.
And in general, thank you so much for sharing and talking about your entrepreneurial experience and a bit about your entrepreneurial journey and how your project has worked. And congratulations on graduating from the Social Innovators Program.
Thank you. Thank you very much.